5. Well, these seconds are longer. 4, 3. These are some long ass seconds on this thing. 2, 1. It's a drag. I don't know what that counter thinks it's doing. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hello and happy. What day of the week is this? Does it matter anymore? Wednesday to you. Hump Day. Yes, it's your very own Hump Days with Hal, and I appreciate you spending it with me. If there is indeed a situation in your life where you actually do get over a hump in your week anymore, I certainly don't. My week is this kind of like rolling work exhaustion news cycle flow through of everything. I'm going to start the show off today with something that is a little like behind the scenes. And welcome everybody, and hi, and thank you for being here with us every day that you can. I'm just here for just to give you a break. The news is insane. Yes, I can get a little heated in my calling out of some of the BS that we see, but we always do it with good cheer and good humor, and with the recognition that we're talking about politics, and that at no point is anyone that is an actual ongoing viewer of my show or listener of it, however way you consume it, going to show up on the lawn of a governor's mansion with a long gun. As a matter of fact, there's no way that anybody who likes and cares about my show or any level of my politics is going to show up on the lawn of anyone with a long gun. I mean, you might have to deal with somebody who ends up on your lawn with a long gun in some sort of fantastical Rambo fantasy that you have in your head, but definitely not as a remedy for any of our political ills. Sorry, not gonna happen. Not gonna, and you guys know that I'm a real stickler about this stuff. We've gone over this a couple of times, but like when Rudy has COVID and apparently has gotten the exact same treatment that Trump got from Trump's doctor, although he's not a government employee and is not, he doesn't work in the White House or whatever, but he magically got access to a rare treatment that's not available to most Americans, which I think, if you really think about it, in playing the long game, guy his age with his habits, more than likely to get COVID just by his own, not wearing a mask, wiping his own snot all over his face. The chances of Rudy not giving himself COVID were fairly slim. So you could argue that all of his support for the president, Starship had a test run today. I saw part of that. Didn't they scuttled it yesterday? Did they go through with it today? But anyway, so we'll get to that. But Rudy himself, you could argue that his support of the president and his kind of, on his lying stampede across the country to try and, foment a, distrust in our elections on behalf of Vladimir Putin, in many ways paid off. Because in any normal circumstance, as an elderly gentleman with multiple comorbidities and shitty eating habits and who's also a cigar smoker, would probably have died. Men die from COVID at a rate 3 times that of women. And so definitely, statistically, once you get hospitalized, he's in, deep doo-doo, as it were. But, this worked out. He ended up getting a service. He ended up getting pushed to the top of the, what was the big halo-like dome in that movie where Jodie Foster lives with all the rich people in space and everybody else is dying of radiation poisoning on Earth, where Matt Damon gets a crappy secondhand exobot skeleton riveted to his Elysium. Was that it? Yeah. So Rudy got to take a day trip to Elysium or whatever. But no, the cocktail did not contain hydroxychloroquine. Good question, Leslie Cosprings. Not at all. Yes, thank you. I just got it right before it started showing up in the chat. There's always that delay. But yeah, so Rudy got a trip to Elysium to get the special juice that is not available to the nudnik poor people on Earth, because he has spent the last month basically trying to drive a stake into the heart of our elections. And I guess fortunate for our elections and unfortunate for Rudy, he he misspelled steak and actually tried to drive just a big chunk of sirloin, which you can never hammer unless it's frozen, and even then, you're never really going to get a cut point to drive it in. So this is a this is going to be a good time. I have no doubt at this point. Oops, hold on one second. There we go. I want to welcome everybody to the show today, and of course, we've got a lot to look at. But before I get into the politics of the day, I want to show you an experience that I go through streaming on YouTube that I want your help to figure out what the hell is going on. Okay? See if you guys can figure this out with me. Now, this is my channel dashboard from YouTube right here. Boink. Hold on. And okay, see this? I got another copyright strike. Now, this isn't stopping me from streaming. For some reason, this is like copyright summary and status. This is just recent. This is a new one. Now, what they had been doing was giving me copyright strikes on stuff from years ago and trying to take down my state and my entire channel here. Whoever they are. Probably, I have to ask Roseanne. She'll know. It'll be in her conspiracy theory somewhere in there. But if you look at this, channel impact not affected, which means what it's not affecting my channel, but the video can't be monetized. Everyone can see the video except in some territories or whatever. And it's ineligible to be monetized. This is their whole thing. Okay. So, okay, whatever. This is if people watch my stuff later and they run ads on it. The ads don't go to me. The ads go to whoever hit me with the copyright strike. Now, this is the copyright strike. Let me see if I can show this. Okay, so it's because a song called The Black Box by Leonardo Butler is allegedly in my video. Interstreet Recordings, on behalf of Jambalaya LLC, hit me with the copyright strike. Now, the song content found during 124.34 to 125.15. So during that section of the video, where if you'll recall, this is the video of me breaking down the bullshit in these 4 cameras and all that story about the tabulation versus counting and their whole backstory and Rudy's assistant attorney who's not acting as an attorney, so she can't be disbarred for lying to the court, even though they're talking to a small legislative session and no one's under oath. Remember that? Okay. This is 124.34. This is when it allegedly starts. This is the piece. Pro bono.
Point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. Yep. And they will continue counting unobserved, unsupervised.
There's a camera on them.
Not in public view as your...
This is public view. They know they're on camera.
Your statute requires. Until about 1 in the morning.
Are they counting or are they tabulating?
The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave...
Do you hear a song? Forced. Do you hear a song anywhere?
They went to the Central Tabulation Center, and they got word from a news crew that, in fact, counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left.
You mean OAN told them that there were still people in there, and therefore counting must be going on? When really they were just wrapping up the night and finishing tabulating so that they could start fresh the next morning with a new batch? Mm-hmm. And they could give...
Do you guys hear a song?
Update Steve Kornacki with a generic number so he would know...
We're past the point.
Do you hear a song in there anywhere? That's the period wherein I have been reported for playing a piece of music in my video to attempt to demonetize it, and therefore I wasn't even singing in that one. That's the content found during 124.34 to 125.15 on behalf of this group, whoever they are. And then I can select the action. I can trim out the segment, which is the part where I explain the difference between tabulation and counting, which is exactly the part the person wants the piece cut out because I guess, I can't imagine why they would want that section removed from my video. I can replace the song. I don't know how the fuck you replace the song with a song that doesn't exist. And then I can mute the song, which means mute all the audio in that section. Yeah. That like, and I mean, I'm obviously going to dispute it because I'm curious to see what they say. That it's one thing like, oh shit, no, I didn't realize there's a piece of music that was playing deep in the background, and I listened to it like 4 times, and I'm like, is it somehow leaking through that overlaps with this? I mean, that's extraordinary. Yeah, can you report whoever reported you? That's the fascinating thing. K Parish 12. I think that should be an option. If somebody files a false one, I mean, it's one thing to go, no, I used a generic piece of music. That guy rapped over a generic piece of music. He's assuming that his rap, like, you almost find that would be a reality. You know what I mean? But this is fairly regular. I get one of these about every other day. I'll get a little like, and it doesn't, it always goes, oh, this doesn't affect your channel. It just affects monetizing the video. So the money that I made during that video on YouTube goes away or goes to them. And any ads that get paid later get done there. So I will play this as a clip later on and upload it to YouTube and ask them a question about this so that they can go back and check this. And this will be its own little segment. But I've gone through this. You guys can see, everybody in the chat room can hear that there is no music in that piece. It's like, I don't, and again, that demonetizes that video. And I recognize that all my old videos had music on them from the station before when it was just my radio show. So what did I do? I took them all down. I just made them hidden. I made them all private. So that if I ever need to get a clip from them, I can post them again. Or if somebody goes, you said this on your radio show 2 years ago, I can go, actually, and they still exist, but they're private and they're not monetized and they're not even listed. And I did that because they were going back through, combing through my catalog, trying to find music snippets and then doing these copyright strikes when, that was Universal Music Group. This, I don't even know what the hell that is. There is, can you add captions and remove the sound? Well, the point is, I don't know that it'll allow captions during that part because publishing involves lyrics. And I agree, ditto. People do want to shit me up. Anyways, I like that part of it. I mean, these are basically harassment. Now, I have to say, I gotta say, I'm a little proud that this is happening. Because it's not actually going to affect my work, my show here. It's not going to affect the other work that I do once production gets started again. We all go back to having the careers we normally have when we're not on this weird lockdown. So ultimately, long term, is this going to really destroy me in any way? No. And is my channel probably going to transmute over the Biden years into something a little more just kind of fun? Yeah. We won't have to be fighting as hard every day against this nonsense. And I can, watch I Love the 80s. I can make it all funny. It's not hard. It's just enjoyable. But this is definitely a sign that I'm on the radar. Absolutely, Bicycle Mike. This is definitely a sign that this is pissing them off, and they're calling in the big guns, as it were. I mean, they're pea shooters, but it's an attempt. You know what I mean? And that's the fun part, And I appreciate that that they're trying, So this is an example of, I tell you, when I got put on the 3-month suspension from streaming on YouTube that ended magically right after the election. So weird. That I was like, okay, I'm going to have a backup. I'm going to drive, to other stuff. I love Twitch as well. And I appreciate you guys who have moved over to Twitch from YouTube for me and are staying there because it seems to be a safer space. I'm much more protective of stuff on there. And I have multiple backups now. And as soon as they allow you to stream on Instagram, I'm just going to fire on all cylinders and call it a day. Because instead of whinging about censorship and big tech is trying to shut me down, guys, I'm just going to find another outlet and succeed there. Right? I mean, isn't that America? So I find it very humorous that this kind of stuff, but I also think it's very telling. And I wanted you guys to know that, like, a lot of times when I'm doing the show and I'm getting set up, I will start my day getting ready to do the show and like picking the clips I'm going to use. And I can't do too much research because I want the stuff to be completely raw. These times, though, that like right now, YouTube is pulling people down and, you know, and not allowing QAnon videos up. And so they're all talking in code. So we're in this whingy zone where they're like half talking and getting shut down and then trying to come up with another way of saying it. Like Roseanne yesterday started talking about Memo 57, and it's like the randomizing of the conspiracy theory to just try to squeeze through what little bits they can is stunning. But over the course of doing this, I'm just going to fix it. Thank you, Richard, for my legal fund. I may eventually need one. As long as these things are platforms and not publishers, I don't think any of us are in trouble in that regard. They all went to Parler. Isn't it pronounced parlay? But anyway, so I just think it's this. You guys need to know that as I'm leading up to doing the show, as I was saying, I will turn on all my stuff. I'll set up all my channels. I've got to have a page open for each of these channels that I'm on in case, like, I mean, trolls are trolls, whatever. But if any of them start becoming like racist or sexist or instigating violence or trying to dox people or crap like that, I have to have that page open so I can get rid of them. The rest of it, we can blow off and mock because they're, you know, ballless and lonely. And I understand that they feel sad. When did I become Glenn Danzig? It's the other way around. So anyways, I have to have each of these pages open. And every time I open YouTube, there's a new one of these. Almost every day. Every other day. And it's consistent. There's a rolling 5 complaints on my channel all the time. It's never without one. And now, because I've removed all the other stuff and I've written my own theme music, there is no, and I've whitelisted my channel, so if I play any of my own music, I can, and I don't get a strike from TuneCore trying to protect me from myself, that they're literally doing copyright strikes on stuff where there's nothing at all. I find that fascinating. Oh, I don't doubt the trolls are reporting me. They would have to, wouldn't they? I mean, who comes to my page and goes, "Who are you?" Like that kind of thing. I mean, you have to understand the mentality. I have a dedicated YouTube troll. Oh, that's fine. Well, I'm glad that they're dedicated. That means that they inflate our numbers. If they're here all the time, that's a good thing, right? The rest of us are having a good time, and they're sitting there going, zing, cut and paste diatribe from other chat group to this chat group. That's basically, because like I say, I think being a troll these days must be like being like Armando Mondolongo, the guy who was flipping houses that basically led directly to the 2008 crash. There was a hip time. It was a really good time to be him. And then he crashed the market almost single-handedly with a bunch of other people, leveraging house upon house upon house, and the whole house of cards fell down on them, that kind of thing. And meanwhile, the trolls, 2 years ago, people used to get upset. Now they know I'm alone. Why don't they understand that I am doing this for click, 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 free and not... But But please, let's see. Feel free to what'll be the troll today? They'll do the standard Trump 2020, 2024, 2028. They'll try to tack that on. They'll go greatest president ever. They'll have a big diatribe that they've cut and pasted from someplace else that definitely has Jesus and Trump in the same paragraph, which is hilarious. I mean, he hung around with hookers and thieves, so maybe there's some overlap, but I don't think the kind they think exists. And then what did we get? Are we going to get some? We get some oldie but goodies. We'll get some Hunter Biden laptop, and we'll get some. What are we going to get? Mike Flynn was innocent, even though he lied about lying and then lied again. Yeah. So basically, yeah, we'll just translate the troll from derp 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 derp. So all right. So I just wanted to catch you up on that though. So this is, yeah, a troll bingo sheet is a great idea. Yeah, where's Hunter? You have to do that one. He gave an interview today, but I mean, you can still use it even if you see him and he's talking to people, and it's good. So speaking of General Flynn, look who was on Fox News. Well, not on Fox News, calling into Fox News in his pajamas, just like his hero. The shortest serving national security advisor in the history of the country, who was dismissed because he lied to the vice president about contacts with foreign agents and his own employment by foreign countries. But, who cares about that stuff? I mean, is it really that big it's not that big a honestly. I mean, when you talk about Hillary's email server, who is this person that's actually doxing people in my chat now? Is there a thing? Who, Valerie? Because that's, had a troll harass me over a game show. Well, that's the entire point of the what ultimately the sort of Trump crowd is going to do after this, and why I called it TrumpCon 2021 today, because effectively that's what we're looking at. We're looking at people who are like Comic-Con dead enders on a character no one liked for a lot of reasons. Like, imagine a comic book character that was broomed because while it was popular in the 60s and 70s, was racist, sexist, misogynistic, like basically the comedian from Watchmen. And eventually people were like, yeah, we're not doing that comic book anymore. It's just gross and nobody wants to do that. Like there's no reason to make these. And those people show up at Comic-Con and insist with guns that someone make a comic book for them for a character they're not going to buy. They'll read it for free because nobody pays to go to his rallies. Nobody pays for him to be president. I mean, some of them throw money his way for his legal defense fund, but that's a sucker's jab on the other side. But in terms of it, they're basically like those folks showing up demanding that other people create a comic book for them that no one else will buy. That's what they want, because free market. So, so here we go. Let's listen to what Mike Flynn has to say.
General Michael Flynn.
What do you know? He's on Maria Bartiromo. What are the odds? He's not. Oh, I mean, we'll have to do a Lou Dobbs video eventually. Doesn't he have some of these people on?
General, it is wonderful to have you this morning.
Well,
congratulations to you. How are you doing today?
Congratulations on being pardoned because you lied and we're going to go to jail. And you got a pardon, which means you admit to being a liar to the courts.
I'm doing great, Maria, and thank you for having me on. And I really appreciate your staunch support and you going after this, just like some of those members of Congress and the president just highlighted. You've been great at really digging deep into what's been happening in our country. So thank you for doing that.
Well, as long as she doesn't dig deep into what's happening in Turkey and Russia. Because then she'd have bumped into you at the buffet.
Well, we have been seeking the truth. General, you are a decorated general. The awards that you have received from the Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, Joint Service Commendation Medal, Army Commendation Medal, the NATO Service Medal, the Ranger Tab.
Just, yeah, read all of his fruit salad and then totally, like no one has ever been decommissioned, thrown out, dishonorably discharged after receiving those things. Of course they have.
Master Parachutes Badge, Joint Staff Identification Badge. You have
The badges.
served our
You don't need no stinking badges.
country with honor.
Yes, you're
and
right.
Yet
Maria is dressed like a Century 21 agent, really.
you were
I
targeted.
feel like I want to buy a house from her in the 90s.
We have handwritten notes from Peter Strzok suggesting that Joe Biden came up with the idea.
No, his the handwritten notes from Peter Strzok, if you can read, if you actually are able, and I'm not sure Maria Bartiromo, like I know she can recognize words on a page and the order because she reads from a teleprompter all the time and she clearly reads on there and she works for Fox Business most of the time, but the reading comprehension part might be rough. The notes from Peter Strzok is that Joe Biden, when he heard people referencing the Logan Act, said, "Holy shit, the Logan Act. That's from like the 1800s. I've been here forever and I haven't heard anybody bring up the Logan Act." That was his response. He's like, "You guys are going to go all the way back to the Logan Act to deal with this liar?"
To take you out.
Take him out. That's what took. Yeah, he took him out using the Logan Act. Oh wait, Trump fired him after he lied to the vice president. Although he didn't. He's just covering for the fact that they would have had to get rid of the vice president and he would have lost his evangelical base if he'd have dumped Mike Pence, because he would have replaced Mike Pence with his daughter, which is what he wanted to do.
Over a Logan Act. Notes from the 2017 Oval Office meeting.
Is she a Latina? No, I think Bartiromo is Italian.
Indicate that then Vice President Biden.
Not that it matters.
Biden mentioned the Logan.
It's weird. It's almost like if you know this part and this part and this part and this part. I mean, none of this, like, this means what it means, but you know, you don't need this part and this part and this, because what is context really? It just mucks up the works.
An act, an 18th century law criminalizing efforts by private citizens to conduct foreign policy. General, before we talk about what is ahead and where we are.
Yeah, did you notice the part that was blacked out, where he was like, "That's what you're gonna like." Let's see. Now you have is there anything I shouldn't be telling them? Flynn, legit. Happy New Year, yeah, night. Happy New Year, year night. What? How come nobody brought up the fact that they said Happy New Year to everybody? I mean, clearly that's a code. Lawanda, thank you so much for becoming a new patron. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Please support. Also Venmo. Boink. What happened after Happy New Year? Huh? Why is there no Merry Christmas? Huh? Is there this? I mean, this has got to be all redacted, but it's got to be about how nobody was allowed to say Merry Christmas around Obama because he's a secret Kenyan Muslim communist, and nobody hates Christmas more than secret Muslim communist Kenyans, right? Right? Look at this. I mean, it's a black box. What more do you need to know? It's black. Clearly, it's suspect. Happy New Year. Then nothing. This probably up here, this probably says cancel Christmas, and then and then Happy New Year. They didn't even, and then this is probably a little like P.S. No Hanukkah either, because Jews. Unless George Soros wants one, and then, of course, but only if the check clears. That was what was written in that little black box up there in the corner.
Foreign policy. General, before we talk about what is ahead and where we are in this...
Let's talk about what's behind you, like a prison sentence.
Really constitutional crisis this morning. I want to get your assessment of what took place these years that you were targeted, how they tried to target your...
It's weird how, when... all these years that they were targeting Al Capone.
Family is...
And they never managed to get him on anything gangstery. So is he really a gangster? Why do we still call him that? I mean...
Well, in a few sentences, tell us what happened, General.
Well, first of all, we all know that this was an effort to get Flynn to get Trump. And that's been made very clear.
Wait, hold on. Somebody in the chat room is saying that... that Alex Jones was censored for mentioning lizard people. Alex Jones was shut down on YouTube because he was insisting that Sandy Hook was a fake, and that they used fake dead kids and fake parents crying over fake dead kids. And he did it so often and so fervently that the Sandy Hook parents got death threats from his followers. Fuck Alex Jones. And I was on his stupid show. And during the breaks, all he does is talk about how sweet his life is and how much money he's making and how much chocolate cake he can stuff into his fat gob. Everybody who listens to Alex Jones is a sap. Dude is a circus barker. Full stop. That's why he got kicked to the curb. Alex is a dirtbag. He's a liar. And he's a grifter. And he steals from people. And it's partly, that's why Trump is like, I'm going to make you proud. Because part of it is that's where he copped half of his act was from Alex. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Poor Alex Jones. What a chimp. Get out of here. Nobody's that bloated without drinking a ton of alcohol. That dude is not fat. He's a glutton. And he gluttoned himself off the money from his followers. His friggin' dick pills had lead in them and had to be removed. Now I know the state, the old cliche, it'll put a lead in your pencil. That's not what they meant. P.S. Also, Alex is a drug addict.
One particular.
He is emotionally addicted to pot at the very least, and he's an alcoholic. And alcohol's a drug.
Senior FBI.
Other than that, I have no opinion.
Agent who has now put into an affidavit, which is a good word to use right now, and that statement that he made was outrageous. The other
okay, outrageous. We got our first outrageous sighting. We got outrageous. Anytime somebody says something is outrageous, it's true. Outrageous is your emotional response to something that somebody says. It is not. I mean, if you first off you say that is factually incorrect, here's the facts, then you might have an argument. The minute you hear anybody in an interview go, that is outrageous, that they would even bring that up. Like, that is one of the oldest, dumbest fallbacks linguistically when people are accused of a crime or accused of like, social improprieties, sexual acts with someone that they shouldn't be having a sexual act with, those kind of things. That is outrageous. That I can't believe you would even bring that up. You sound like a villain in a Columbo episode. Lieutenant, that is outrageous. I'm shocked that you would even suggest that I murdered my wife like everyone saw me murder my wife in the first act.
Thing that, the 2016
outrageous. Outrageous.
2016 transition, and then into the White House.
When you got fired faster than any national security advisor in history for lying to the vice president, even though they threw you under the bus.
This entire effort, and when people say, hey, Mike.
What effort? What effort? They weren't even in power when you got fired.
I'm sorry for what happened to you. What I tell people is don't feel sorry for me.
I don't.
Sorry for this president. Feel sorry for the presidency of this country. And
no one feels sorry for this president. The president. You know I feel sorry for? The families of the dead.
Be outraged at what they tried to do to this country. And
outrageous!
That's really what
I'm outraged that you should suggest that I'm not outraged.
This was about going after a president who won an election, and they, by all
lost the popular vote.
All rights, they figured, oh, no way is he going to win. So,
yeah, he won by a hair's margin in 3 states. That gave him the electoral college that he needed. Everybody was running as a standard Republican. He was an unknown entity. A lot of people felt like, well, what does it matter? I mean, things are righting themselves after 2008. We've learned nothing from Bush and Cheney. So what difference does it make? Let's just hand it back over to the Republicans. Let's just ping pong our election back and forth. 8 years of Republicans, 8 years of Democrats. Let's go back to Republicans. Doesn't really matter. And then, oh shit.
Imagine if these people that went after the president,
Okay.
went after President Trump and his presidency and our country, imagine if they had allowed him to just say, hey, let's see what this guy can do.
Yeah, imagine if they'd just said, allow him to see what this guy can do. I'm going to guess he would start funneling money out of the DOD secretly using loyalists like he's doing in the last few days of his presidency. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he would have had a $1 trillion deficit in year 1 instead of year 2. He doubled the deficit. We didn't enter a new war. We didn't have a new economic downturn. He went to war with the Fed to drive interest rates down, which artificially jack up the stock exchange. And so now there's a war between the banks and the stockholders to like crash the stock market essentially. Imagine if he'd have just, if everybody gotten off his back and just let him do whatever he wanted to do. Imagine if he'd have been able to put in all 300 of the judges he wanted. Imagine if only there was a Mitch McConnell who would stop every bill he didn't want to sign and only bring stuff to the floor that was on Mitch's list. Imagine if the Heritage Foundation was just allowed to pick all of our judges with using a rubber stamp with Trump's name on it. Imagine.
We'd probably be double or triple in every category of...
Yes, we would be double and triple in the number of COVID deaths. We would be double and triple in the deficit.
Of economy, our military, everything. And look at what President Trump has been able to do despite the kind of assaults that he's been under. So this, and we're still facing that right now in this.
Are we? Yeah, it's really just, it's because everybody's beating up on him, guys. If the Democrats hadn't been so mean to him, the COVID deaths probably would have gone from 15 to nothing. I mean, if you think about it.
Current election, we have an element in our country, some of which is in the institutions of our government.
Uh-oh. They've weaseled in there. Have you no decency, sir?
Department of Justice, certainly the FBI, and other elements like...
They're everywhere. Commies. There's commies. There's commie infiltrators. That's where we're going, by the way. This is where this is where this all ends. Jewish communists have infiltrated the government. Where have we heard this before?
The intelligence community that just basically are, and I think most Americans would agree, or many Americans would agree, that there's an anti-American bent inside of some of these institutions.
There's an anti-American bent inside the Department of Justice and the FBI. It's not that they're against Trump and the fact that he's a grifter and he owes $1 billion to God knows who, Russia and China, through Deutsche Bank, which was, obviously shoveling $15 billion around with their software that checks all the sketchy transactions turned off. It's not that. It's just that, if they hate Trump, they hate America. The Pope is the church. Jim Jones is a pineapple.
And they just do not...
If you don't like pineapples, you don't love Jim, drink the Kool-Aid.
Want to see our country
sick of eating pineapples. Well, then you're sick of eating Jim. What?
Thrive in the way that I think Donald Trump has been able to do that, despite the assault on him and his ability to lead this country.
Yeah, it's been an assault on him. He really deserves a do-over, guys.
So President Obama...
That just kind of faded out. Listen to the end of this argument.
His ability to lead this country.
So President Obama...
Sorry, you're done? Maria totally fell asleep. Oh, he stopped talking. Did they poke her with something or...
mentioned your name to President Trump. You were one of the few names that President Obama raised. He did not want you as the incoming national security advisor. I want to ask you...
Because you were a Turkish agent and you were getting money from Russia and you were... well, let me see. Let me see if I can find... I'm going to find one thing. Let's see. think if you could just, anytime that you can just type in things like Flynn, Stein, Putin, and all of this comes up, when it's that easy. You can't do that with any other cabinet member except maybe Rex Tillerson that Trump was suggesting. Okay, thanks, James. There is a, maybe I'm willing to be wrong. I am willing to be wrong. Maybe, just maybe, there's somebody in there, that like maybe Stephen Miller was magically at one of these things. But does anybody else, can he actually not recognize that? I'm working on it. Let's see. Hold on one second. Doing a little house cleaning. Because he was at dinner right there. Let's see. There we go. There he is. Let's see. Let's just make this picture a little bit bigger, shall we? Vladimir Putin, Michael Flynn, Czech Republic's former deputy prime minister, Emir Kusturica, I'm curious what his works are like, and his wife, Jill Stein, Putin's spokesman, not sitting over by Putin, by the way, sitting right next to Jill, who apparently has a crush on him and is either that or he just stole her dinner roll, and she's like, dude, what the fuck? And then Putin's chief of staff. So they're sitting here. They've divided the table in half. There's no this side of the table, that side of the table. Why would it be? Why would it be that of all the people that they were recommending, because Paul Manafort was a campaign person and wasn't going to end up in the administration by any means, they didn't have to worry about him. Why would everybody go, you might want to, there's one dude you might want to watch out for. He's the only guy that if you type his name next to Putin, the first thing that comes up is dozens of pictures of them having dinner together, invited by Putin to come have dinner. I'm just saying. Yes, and accepting a pardon is an admission of guilt. Why is Stein there? Because Stein is a tool. Because Stein's entire purpose was to eat Clinton votes. Yeah. That's why. So, just for the record, that might be the reason why he's the only person that the Obama administration said, I don't recommend that guy. I know he's on your short list, but yeah, he now works for Turkey and they're funneling money from Russia into his pocket. So, also Sally Yates has, been monitoring stuff and found out that he's been subverting U.S. policy set by Congress, the administration, and the Senate, and promising Russia things that you do not legally have the right to promise. There you go. That might be why. Boy, Obama, it's just but, guys, don't think for a second that it's really about the fact that Flynn is sitting right next to Putin. He's got the cherry seat. Right now, whisper seats. He's got whisper seats. Cyril doesn't get that. The director gets that. What's he up to? So I don't know why this scene kind of reminds me of the dinner and what was they had some sort of a dessert in Inglourious Bastards. That scene with Goebbels and yeah. Anyways, yeah, he's right there, and apparently putting an earpiece in his ear or touching it like the world's worst spy. Don't touch your ear. All right, sorry, sorry. I thought I was in an '80s spy movie. It's the strudel. Thank you. It was the strudel. That's right. So yeah, this is, by the way, say what you will about the Green Party, but until they actually start electing mayors and take over an entire town and show that their philosophy is actually practical and can actually make it, excuse me, I have to take a Putin. I don't think you have to leave to do that. Rudy never did. Until that happens, you should take every candidate they put forward as a drag on Democratic votes. Just understand that's the ploy. But why in the world? I can't imagine. It's probably just personal. In the same way that FBI people and people in the DNI and the CIA who are concerned about national security are, and Trump's connection to foreign powers and the money and leverage they might have on him really aren't. They're not. It's not that they don't like America. It's not that they don't like Trump for all of his criminal activities. They hate America. Because is there really a difference? The land and the king are one.
What you think about that, and
here's what I think about that. Fuck you.
look, they were spying on Donald Trump. They were.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Right before Bill Barr pulled a Claude Rains a couple weeks ago, right after the election, right before, I think, he released a report that said, yeah, there was nothing in the unmasking. And again, if you know who you are spying on, why do you need to unmask them? They are clearly not masked. This is the part that's always bothered me. They're looking at a list. Hey, somebody's calling Sergei Kislyak a lot. Who is that? We don't know. We don't have a warrant to look into that. I mean, we can unmask them, but that's an official act. Well, how many times have they called him? About 100 times today. So they're either a telemarketer, or it's a wrong number, or they're engaged in criminal activity with a foreign agent that means this country ill and is trying to undermine the quality and belief in our elections. Yeah. Okay, unmask him. Who is it? It's Mike Flynn. Motherfuck, what a surprise.
Spying on candidate Trump's campaign. We
Why does she always look like she was just crying into wine?
know that there were unlawful.
Am I wrong? Seriously, she looks like the end of a rom-com.
Wiretaps on Carter Page, among others.
They didn't wiretap Carter Page. They investigated Carter Page.
You coming in as national security advisor
Was a huge mistake, and the president fired you. Tell him what happened. Tell him about the day the president fired you.
First thing, you coming into the job, you would have known what the investigations were. You would have known everything. They needed to get you out of the way. I get that.
And Trump helped them. That was the key to their plan. This whole time, what they've actually, not, people don't realize that what they did was they put a robo-Trump in who would do the bidding of the deep state and get rid of Michael Flynn just in.
But why was President Obama?
Am I not wrong? Seriously, she looks like the end of a rom-com.
So
I can't believe you actually love me.
Afraid of you. You wanted to audit the Pentagon, didn't you? Tell me what you wanted to do when you were in the Obama administration.
Yeah, you wanted to audit the Pentagon and release what the Pentagon spending papers in public so that the Russians could see them, because Russia and Turkey and China and Iran and every possible adversary we have in the country would love to see the Pentagon's books. Are you stupid? I don't know why I, as a liberal Democrat, am the one who's having to argue for the obvious secrecy of Pentagon spending. Within certain limits, of course, and with oversight from the Congress, but not to the point where it hits the airwaves. This asshole wanted to basically take the accounting books from the Pentagon and post them online. You know all those those spy movie plot points where they're like, oh my God, someone got the knock list. Someone got the knock list. They got the list of all the spies that, and they'll get out, and now all of our spies are going to get killed. That's in that movie. Mike Flynn is the guy who's trying to get the knock list and release it.
To alienate some of those colleagues of yours.
Yeah. So imagine the
Imagine.
transition of the
Imagine it's outrageous.
entire country, the United States of America, and here you have this sort of transition conversation between two incoming and an outgoing president.
Yeah, I'm imagining it right now as the Biden administration is being cut off from talking to people in the Pentagon by the Trump organization because the Trump administration, because they want to hide where they've been grifting money out of the Pentagon.
And they mentioned two people, dear leader Kim Jong-un and General Michael Flynn, as though I'm public enemy number one.
No, they said you're not public enemy number one. You're not that important. You're just untrustworthy and a grifter. You have used your position to enrich yourself, and you are working as an unregistered foreign agent.
So yeah, one of these days I would like somebody to pin him down and ask him, and he should have been afraid of me, and he still should be afraid of me. And what I would say is
He's not afraid of you. Obama's not afraid of Mike Flynn. He was the president of the United States, and as a former president, he's not afraid of Mike Flynn.
what you mentioned about auditing and digging into, reforming the Pentagon, the intelligence community, the budget. Devin Nunes has been on top of this for a long time, and I think he's right. I think you played.
Yeah. Okay. There's your collapse right there. That'd be that's the end of that conversation. Devin Nunes is the key, right?
Jordan earlier, he's right. I would just say that going forward, because we're going to have to continue to do some real deep, thorough re-looking at how we operate as a nation within some of these institutions. The institutions don't run this country. They do not run this country. The people run this country.
No, the people don't. The people don't run the country. We have a representational government that we elect over time that carries out the will of the voters. What?
And they do it through their elected officials.
Right.
And what has happened is we have
What's happened?
a bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. that has gotten so bloated, so out of control.
That Mitch McConnell should step down because he stopped Obama from being able to get his judges in to the tune of like 146 judgeships during his presidency because the bloated nature of his... I see. So this is about attacking Mitch McConnell. I see, General Flynn.
And people know me. I mean, anybody that's worked around me, they know me in all organizations I've come up in through the military. It's always been about looking at how, we can basically focus on the real true mission, which is really a constitutional mission at the end of the day, is, supporting and defending the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Okay, so like Russia and Turkey as a foreign example, and the Trump administration's the campaign's early attacks on the will of the voters previous. I see.
It's that simple. Obama talking about me is outrageous. I will not.
Outrageous. There's that word again.
Give him any more time on your show. So, thank you for asking that.
Yeah, Is everybody? Can somebody check on President Obama? Apparently, he's not going to get any more time on Maria Bartiromo's show in discussion this hour.
Question.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to get at, General, is the fact that John Brennan was running his own book overseeing the CIA. And what we learned later was that there were... Is
this going to be about the Hillary started the whole narrative to attack Trump on this thing?
People running into Trump campaign people. I'm talking about people like Alexander Downer.
And Sergei Kislyak.
And Stefan Halper. Joseph Mishfoot.
Thanks, Templetons. They're at Merci, filling out referral forms for students. So taking a poli-sci class in tandem is my sort of multitasking. That's the way to do it, Templeton. Thanks so much.
Who were running into Trump campaign people, and I assume they were being paid. You, in the Obama administration, wanted to know where the money was going, who was being paid what. You wanted to do an audit of the Pentagon. That did not make you any friends within the administration. And then
Yeah, because, Democrats, especially Obama, are, they're all in on the Pentagon.
when you were an incoming NSA, they wanted to stop you. They wanted to take you down.
And they couldn't, so they had to rely on their last great effort, Donald J. Trump, the deep state's only hope to carry out the rest of their mission. For without him firing Mike Flynn, their plan would have been destroyed. All he had to do was ride out one news cycle and keep the guy in.
one way was to ambush you in an FBI interview at the White House.
That ambush you. All right, he was ambushed. All right, well.
While you were the sitting NSA. I'm going to play this soundbite of Jim Comey, former FBI director, explaining why he decided to send a few FBI agents over to the White House to question you in that ambush.
Okay, here it is. It was an ambush, and their definition of an ambush is, in an ongoing investigation, they sent 2 FBI agents over to talk to a subject of the investigation. Just like happened to Custer. You know what I mean? He was sitting on the White House, riding it through a canyon, and on the hill appeared FBI agents who first screamed that battle cry, "You don't need to actually talk to us if you don't want to. If you want to get a lawyer, you can." Remember that from Little Bighorn?
Here's Jim Comey explaining it. Watch this.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them.
Oh my God. Imagine if this got out and people heard them say these things. If they said this in front of real people instead of just having a laugh track.
Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. And in both of those...
Yeah, skipped it. They skipped the part where he goes, but the Trump organization was so disorganized that they wouldn't even return phone calls, and they couldn't figure out a way to, if you got time, come on by, we'll schedule this. Yeah, they showed up without an appointment. I mean, how do FBI agents even get into government buildings?
Administrations, there was process, and so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Right.
Let's just send a couple of guys over.
Yeah, just to come a couple of strong guys walking around, Italian suits. Hey, we're here to talk to Michael Flynn. Who just put down Johnny Ambush and the Thug. And don't worry, we're on the list. G. Gordon Liddy told you we'd be dropping by.
To interview the National Security Advisor. Is that right, General?
Yeah, Maria, so first of
all... Oh, my God. An ambush interview.
Well, the statement that I would make about that, and when I first saw it, I was just outraged. But
it was outrageous. It's outrageous, guys. It's outrageous. Not only is it outrageous I'm being accused of these things, it's outrageous I'm being asked these questions. It's outrageous that these people came and outraged me by outraging me.
The arrogance.
I'm literally out of rage at this point. I've literally outraged myself.
That exudes out of Jim Comey in that interview, and frankly,
the what?
That exudes. When I first saw it, I was just outraged. But, the arrogance that exudes out of Jim Comey in that interview.
Who would deign to speak to me. And
frankly, the laughter from the audience.
Oh, terrible. At your expense.
As any American who cares about our country, who cares about our institutions.
I do. So this includes me? Nice.
Cares about our ability to, what I call, breathe the fresh air of liberty.
Breathe the fresh air of liberty. Of course, which was much easier before the removal of clean air provisions that Trump scuttled. But I get you.
Should be disgusted, and we should continue to be disgusted One of the
I do need is there a Ogmuse? Can I get a box of anti-outrage? Is there a salve?
things that, as you have spoken about many, many times, and it really
Damn, that dude is tall. It's weird.
comes down to a
Yeah, like there was a guy. Do you guys remember during the hearings on the impeachment? There was an aide that was super tall. Do you remember that guy? And he would walk people like Pelosi and other people to the rooms where they were having the hearings because of COVID. They had to do, or because they were. And I guess this was previous. So they had the deposition. That was what there was a deposition room that was not in the open before the hearings because they deposed people and so they wouldn't embarrass themselves and be caught lying in public. They'd give them a chance to walk it back because if it was like they did everything they could to protect everybody around Trump's orbit during this thing. Like, hey, we know you're lying. Do you want to fix your lie while we're in this little room together? Or you want to fix it out there, which is what they were doing. There was a dude who like walked people to the elevator. You saw him on the news all the time. Dude was huge. The only person who was the same height as him was Jim Comey.
accountability. I mean, the people of this country can only wait so long for accountability, and we have the only people
I agree. Why is Dick Cheney not in jail? Oh,
that have been quote unquote held accountable are people that seem to be around Donald Trump, and for the wrong reasons, right?
yeah, I know. You shouldn't hold people accountable for the wrong what? So Paul Manafort should be let for. I see. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. He was talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Please continue.
So what this country is going to demand and demands right now.
What is it?
And we haven't seen it out of the justice system. We certainly haven't seen it out of the judiciary.
Clearly not. The judiciary is terrible. 300 Trump appointees. Not one of them gives a shit about any of these things we filed. These Post-it notes written in cartoons in like little Post-it notes with cartoons, posing as legal arguments written in crayon and feces. Why are there no brave judiciary members? Why are they all on the take?
Accountability for one's actions. So people like, Stroke, whatever, Pienka, and many, many others who, Comey is another one, McCabe is another one. All these people, Brennan, you mentioned, all these people, they can't just sit out there and lie to the American people for years on end, which we now know that they did, and have this sort of arrogant, smug look on their face.
Yeah, when you lie and then you get busted right away. So this is about shelf life, I guess, right?
And get away with it. The American people don't stand. They're not going to stand for it. And frankly, the media in this.
Is he just calling for insurrection now? Is that what he's saying? Is this the wink and a nod, take up arms? I'm your general, and I'm telling you to open fire on behalf of America. I mean Donald Trump. I mean America. I mean Donald Trump. I mean, is there really a difference? Isn't he the same? Isn't he our new founding father? Isn't this in many ways the New Testament, the third testament of the Abrahamic traditions?
This country has done a total disservice to itself by enabling these people and their ability to just flatly lie to the American public.
Oh, you're talking about you now. I see. I get confused.
About what they believe happened. What they believe happened is not what really happened, and now we know.
Well, you can't lie about your beliefs. You can lie about facts, but if you believe something happened, then you believe it happened, whether it's true or not. I mean, that's the root of Christian faith or any Abrahamic tradition or any religious belief. For that belief is beyond facts or whatever. If you're saying you're disputing his facts, then say so. But you can't because you just got pardoned, which means you're guilty for the stuff that you did.
Oh, and frankly, through my case and through the great work of Sidney Powell and
oh yeah, name drop Sidney Powell. That'll help your case. And Lynn Wood
and others who were behind us.
Well, just as long as you're not behind Rudy Giuliani, that's all I'm worried about.
In
fecal oral transmission.
In helping us get to this level of truth, and there's still more truth to be exposed. That's enlightening for all of us, and thank God we were able to get here. But through my case, we have exposed an underbelly of Washington, D.C. that is grotesque.
Well, you created a brand new underbelly. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Trump literally came in, said, I'm going to drain the swamp, found there was no swamp, and went, shit, we have to make a swamp. Otherwise, how can I claim to have drained it?
It's a sad state of affairs, and now we are still waiting on accountability. Where is John Durham's probe of the
Yeah, where is it? I mean, all these so-called Republicans all of a sudden turning on Trump. How deep is the deep state? It's you notice how much deeper the deep state gets every time they send somebody to look at the evidence? They're like, go look at the evidence, see what you see. Well, I don't find any evidence of what you're talking about. I did find a bunch of shit about you, though. The
2016 election? Where is Bill Barr? Republicans on.
Where is Bill Barr? Honestly, he was totally giving Trump a rusty trombone for a good 2 years, and then all of a sudden he's AWOL?
On the Senate Judiciary Committee, led by Lindsey Graham, called on.
Speaking of rusty trombone.
Have they called on any Biden nominee for not to interfere with John Durham's investigation?
Yeah, just do that. This is her complaint right now, that no Bill Barr is not calling on Biden's appointees, I guess the people that he's mentioned so far at the CDC and the NIH and his upcoming ag secretary pick, that those people should not interfere in John Durham's report, which they were planning on having coming out before the election. And even Durham himself went, there's nothing here. I mean, I can put a report out, but there's nothing here. I got to finish it, but there's nothing here. That they want to call people in front of who the hell, honest to God? What is that? What is that?
Led by Lindsey Graham, called on. Have they called on any Biden nominee for not to interfere with John Durham's investigation? Are you?
Seriously. We know for a fact, and Flynn has said as much, that he was working as a Turkish agent. He was on, at which, like, the financial benefit on a military level is off the charts. It's millions and millions of dollars. That's what he was trying to raise. We know for a fact that he was in direct contact with Putin and Sergei Kislyak and a bunch of FSB assholes. And we know for a fact that Russia is a kleptocracy. It's a gangster economy instead of a government. And he's in secret contacts with them nonstop. He's admitted to it. He's talked to that many, many times. He was a cooperating witness for 2 years. He admits to it. That's what the base of the pardon is. Thank you, Kate. That's what the base of the pardon is. But what's her response? How come nobody's calling out, the person that Biden wants to put in front of the NIH to oversee the pandemic for trying to scuttle John Durham's report? What's up with the 17 states lawsuit? It will tank.
Expecting that we will see a report.
4 of the states have to respond to the thing, and what they're going to go is, we followed all the procedures. We've done everything. We're Republican and Democratic governors. We've certified our election. They have no case. A single state cannot sue the rest of the states that didn't go their way to get their way. And the Supreme Court will go, yeah, that's kind of a bad precedent, especially considering how many people live in New York and California. How long before that sets a precedent? Imagine this SCOTUS, the Alito court with Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, setting up a precedent, a legal precedent, wherein a highly populous state like California or New York could sue the other states that voted for a Republican in the future to scuttle their votes after they've been certified because they don't meet or hold the standards of that particular state or don't allow them access to their voter rolls. In which case, the argument would be, then the federal government has to establish a federal voting standard, in which case all the red states, all these 17 states that are filing this lawsuit, would immediately be the defendant in that. They would file, well, they'd be the plaintiff. They would sue to get that undone.
And are you expecting that we?
Yeah, because the red states want the federal government to dictate overall the election.
We will see accountability because, by the way, General, we haven't even mentioned this.
And by the way, any Republican who wants that to happen, explain yourself. Explain how you want this to, where Texas or any of these other states can rule that the other states they can just supersede their election and the quality of their election state by state. That whatever their group is, you get 4 states together and say, we want their standard to be our standard. Well, that's a federalizing standard. That's the elimination of states' rights. The states get to control their elections how they see fit, and the governor and the lieutenant governor and the legislature gets to establish who the electors are. The legislature can do it by either handing over power or doing it directly themselves, which is the whole fight that they're doing. Imagine Republicans arguing that a group of states federalizes amongst themselves a standard that the other states have to use, or what? They stop giving their tax dollars? Well, which are the rich states that could choke the red states out by not giving tax dollars? What states give more money to the federal government than they take? I'll wait.
Before they did pressure you to say you lied about the conversation you had in that ambush interview because they were threatening your son too, right?
Well, they were threatening him they weren't going to choke him. They weren't going to, stomp his testicles like they threatened people with in the black sites under Dick Cheney. They were threatening to go after him for his illegal activities. They were going to take a good long look at him. Imagine a situation where a father and son are engaged in collaborative criminal efforts, and they go to the father and go, do you want to tell us the truth, or do you want us to take a deep look at both of you? Does your son need this? That's the threat.
You had in that ambush interview because they were threatening your son too, right?
By the way, ambush interview. Just let that sit in you. This is the Profiles in Courage.
Right, that's exactly right. In terms of Barr and Durham, look.
They're wussies. They're weak. They're part of the deep state. They've totally rolled over on their belly. What?
I would say that we obviously know that things are happening.
Do we?
What they're doing, in my speculation, or certainly my knowledge of how this whole system has operated from really day one, I'm a little bit disappointed.
That's Durham, by the way.
I would say that, I give a lot of
things. That's right, Hazareth. They're doing stuff. There's all kinds of this stuff. There's lots of stuff happening. You guys realize how much stuff there is? It's a lot of stuff. I think they're doing stuff. Not as much stuff as I'd want, but hopefully to do more stuff in the future. When they, get stuffed.
Room, space to Bill Barr, because I think Bill Barr...
Yeah, just give him some room. That's the problem. You just stop crowding him, guys. Give him some space, and he will indict somebody. If he didn't have to do all these pressers every day, where he's always out in public, always on the talk shows, talking nonstop, maybe he's certainly had to deal with a swampy Department of Justice, and that's very clear. There's No, it isn't.
Elements inside of the Department of Justice that...
There's elements. Jews. That's what he's talking about.
My goodness.
All right. 456 patrons. We're getting there. We're getting there. Then we're going to crack that 500 number eventually. I just know it. It'll be part of our big holidays telethon or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Durham, I don't know.
Happy holidays. I'm going to get a copyright strike just because my voice is so sultry.
I know that the American people are sick and tired of waiting.
Yes, I'm sick and tired of waiting for you to spend time in jail, and I'm sick and tired of waiting for Trump to actually have to pay his taxes.
Or sick and tired of waiting. We know because it's been laid out in spades by certainly members of Congress, Devin Nunes being one of them. And
Name drop Nunes again. Don't forget to say outrageous a fifth time.
Others, in terms of crimes committed. So people just want to make sure that our government is also taking care of itself in terms of accountability.
Yeah, that's what our government just needs a little me time. It needs to put on a mask, lay in a hot bath, and think of things through. I mean, don't. No, that was a mistake. My message to our government: do not get in a hot bath because the Republicans will try to drown you in it.
And
on behalf of Russia, of course.
That's not the case.
Yep.
And the Durham, situation is just a big part of that right now, and people are tired of it.
Tired of what? Durham doing his job that he's been given by Barr? What are they, what's the problem?
Well, Senator Ron Johnson has been
Oh, Senator Ron Johnson. Why do I know that name? Where was he? Let's see. Senator Ron Johnson. Where was he on 4th of July last year? That's right. He was in Russia with Vladimir Putin on the 4th of July. Imagine a tale, if you will, if you can picture this in your head. Imagine a group of 7 Democratic senators in 1986 spending the 4th of July in Russia. Just think about that for a bit. Now, at that point, Russia had not been caught attacking our elections, actually using asymmetrical warfare to try and collapse our democracy. They have multiple times over the last few years, and many people, even Trump appointees, have said to Congress in open session and in committee hearings under oath that they have and are and will continue to attack our. It was 2018. Thank you. Will continue to attack our elections, and therefore the root of our democracy. Imagine if that was a bunch of Democrats. Imagine a bunch of Democrats going to Iran for 4th of July, or Saudi Arabia, or China, or Belgium for that matter, which is where the UN,
investigating the wrongdoing, and he noted 125 leaks in the first 126 days of President Trump's when he was first inaugurated.
So was that all? Was that Mike Flynn? It couldn't have been, because he was fired. He was only there for 20 some odd days, so he couldn't have leaked it all. And by the way, if they're leaks, they're true.
The transition from Obama.
I think I have, Shelley, a couple of them. Let's see. I'll roll back. All done. I'll do a little brooming. Let's see. Roll this back. Okay, there we go. There you go. Because they can mess with me, but if they're annoying the folks who are just trying to talk normally, then they can go away. Let's see. Just doing a little house cleaning, kids, for one moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Let's see. It's fun. There we go. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's nice. I didn't even realize that was a possibility. There you go. There you go. There we go. There we go. And there you go. Hopefully, that'll clear out some of the meaner ones. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I don't care if they attack me. That's fine. But if they're saying crap to the other people in the chat, or they're, trying to get people kicked out of there themselves, sorry, my page, my rules.
To Trump could not have been worse. They really said.
Yeah, it's Facebook trolls. It's just, that's the price of having Facebook in there, because they will just let anybody in.
Up, but I want.
And they're not real. Oh, by the way,
right,
that was the end of the interview. By the way,
from Obama to Trump could not have been worse. They really set him up. But I want. Joining me right now.
And I don't know why. This is Fox Business. That's the clip. What did they leave out on the end of that? Why wouldn't you just put the whole? You know what I mean? That's the amazing part of it. Let's see. Let me do this. There you go. There you go. And this is fun. Dink. There you go. There we go. All right. That's fun. Dink. Sure, Shelly. Glad to do it. It's a lot. I mean, you have to prune Facebook in a way you don't have to prune the other sites because, I can't make people like moderators in there for some reason. And I'm not quite sure why that is. If anybody wants to let me know how to do that, I'm glad to do it. But, in general, like I said, it's neither here nor there. Like I said, I don't really care if, they always pop back in under another fake account. But I mean, they have to because this is what they get paid for, But we appreciate it. Like I said, most of them, I'm just glad they're there pumping up our numbers because the show has been growing like crazy. And I wish it was all just organic people wanting to watch the show because I'm charming, funny, and I've always got my facts straight. But sometimes, quite frankly, there's a margin of about 12% trolls on almost every outlet. And you really have to start striking a nerve before they start showing up in mass. And now that they've shut down a bunch of the QAnon pages, it's getting even harder for them, which I think in the immortal words of, if I can pluralize it, there we go, of Mr. T, I pity the fools. So there's Jay Sekulow. We'll get to him in a second. This is Newsmax. And by the way, this is the view of the astronaut spacewalk live from Earth. From the space station. Watch astronaut spacewalk Earth views from NASA feed. #Earth from space. It's pretty cool. Just have a moment of zen in the middle of this. That while we're all being crazy down on that little blue marble. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it looks flat to me. I don't know what your problem is. Clearly, it's the Earth is obviously plate-shaped, my lord. Yeah, they're gonna find take it away, flat earthers, right? Well, one of the early parts of the Russian psyop that they were working on before they started pushing the QAnon stuff and boosting fake BLM accounts, fake socialism accounts, fake Bernie Bros, like all this stuff to kind of foment discord, driving fake militia accounts to make loners think they're not alone, so they act out, which is part of the psyop they've been pushing. Dates way back. The Russians have been doing this for years. I mean, they're attached to Zeitgeist, that video that made its circulation that was about the origins of the Abrahamic religions that eventually somehow rolls into, that's why we have to get rid of the Fed. Like that part of it, because the Fed is the very thing that manages the government, manages our economy for the government. And therefore, if you can get rid of the Fed, you can get rid of America's financial dominance in the world because it is one of the best managing tools that exists for whatever. Look at that. They sell T-shirts at Cosmo Sapiens. That's lovely. They seem cool. But in that, they've been pushing the whole we faked the moon landing, CIA is to blame for everything, blah blah blah. All those things they constantly push those ideas, so that eventually people just lose faith in their government, faith in democracy, and eventually go, maybe we just let somebody just run it. I don't care. I mean, the villains are out there. We need to wipe them out, and we need a strong man to do it. That's what that is. Newsmax is on their own anus. They're fun. By the way, there was an ad for this thing. Like, they do these ads for stuff. And hold on, let me see if I can back this up. I was like, some of these ads.
Judy is the emergency kit.
Judy!
You didn't know you needed.
You didn't even need this. Get a bug out bag for the failure of America. It's not that we're rooting for it. It's just we're planning to make money.
By leading disaster.
The amount of like prepper kit shit that you see on Newsmax. I mean, think about the mentality that they're trying to push. Like, say what you will about like pharmaceutical ads on most of the news organizations, but they're basically premised on the idea that you want to live and continue living. You just want to live without that rash. Flat Earth is real. Flat Earth is for idiots. The Earth is round. It's actually, it bulges in the middle. It's not a perfect sphere. It bulges because of gravity at the middle. So it's got a little junk in the trunk. The Earth does. But if you believe flat Earth stuff, if you believe the moon landing was fake, all that kind of stuff, understand that you have been the useful idiot of a targeted psyop by foreign actors for decades, and you fell for it. And it's one of the easier things to wake up from. And the reason it was pushed is because the Russians faked a lot of their space missions. I would say all, but they eventually got it together when we started helping them.
Preparedness experts with up to
Tissues. In the new world of prepping, when the purge starts and the great day of the rope begins and the Walking Dead are among us, you're going to need tissues. If you've got an issue, here's a tissue. That's right, prepper tissues. They also make a good field dressing, and you can eat them if you're trying to lose weight. It's like supermodels and cotton balls.
72 hours worth of supplies.
That's all you're going to really need before the Patriots take over and take our country back.
They've done all the work, so you don't have to.
I don't want to do any work. This is the perfect product for me. Do any work. Who does work anymore?
Order Judy today for one.
Judy! Seriously. Judy! Hey, Gary. Man, why you got a big orange tub named Judy in your prepper cabin? Oh, that's what I put my ex-wife in. She's dissolving. Judy. What kind of a prepper isn't going to get their ass kicked in the purge, running around with a backpack with Judy written on it? That's right. It should be called Karen. Karen. What's it called, Judy? 'Cause it's preparing for the great Jew Day, when we get rid of all the Jews. You're going to need to hide, because when Jews explode, they're radioactive, and they give everybody chlamydia for a 5-mile radius. So you have to live in a missile silo for 6 weeks eating tissues and drinking hand sanitizer. It's your only way to live. Judy.
$100 off.
Judy.
Off and free shipping before the holidays.
Well, it should be. Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect holiday gift, is preparing for the end of the world. Just what I wanted for Christmas. Something to eat and snack on before the air runs out. Dad, can we go outside and see? No, it's all wrong. Everything's bad outside. Don't go. I don't know. It sounds like everybody's partying, and like Biden's America is actually way nicer than you said it was going to be. No, it isn't. Stay in the basement. Eat your Judy. Why is Judy so chewy?
This season, easily.
Just take your pictures and just put them on there. Here's some people. This is a woman who bought one of those liberal dogs off those ASPCA ads or whatever. This is, of course, the McCabe family. This is our adopted child that we did through
To your door.
the Newsmax fundraiser.
Just fine.
I'm kidding. They never do that.
My day.
Right.
That's myphoto.com.
Myphoto.com. The only normal ad. This guy, Drew Berquist, former U.S. counterterrorism officer and current Starbucks owner. I don't know.
Your family would be devastating. At Mammoth Nation, we're committed to supporting conservative candidates.
Okay, so Mammoth Nation, they're a super PAC that supports conservative candidates, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You believe in conservatism, set up your own super PAC and go for it. Earn money and then take that money and support conservative candidates.
We also stand behind our police.
You stand behind your police, like most people do in a dangerous situation, because that's why police are amazing, because they stand in front of you when things are dangerous. That's the great thing about cops, and I'm not being facetious or ironic or comedic at all. I genuinely mean this. They go towards trouble while everybody else is running from it. It's kind of what does make them great. I'm a big fan. I don't like the bad ones. Nobody does, including the good cops. But anyways, I digress. But please tell us how you support them.
Military and veterans.
Military and veterans. You support them. We support the wall. The right to life. The Second Amendment. Second Amendment before the right to life. You should have the right to shoot someone. You have the right to take someone's life and the right to life. We support the right to take a life and save a life. All right.
The Second Amendment and so much more.
So much more. So much more. That mean people who choose to collect Beanie Babies.
You only get one vote. Mammoth Nation's here to make sure it
You only get one vote, but with Mammoth Nation, you'll be able to vote twice.
counts. We need your support, so join Mammoth Nation today.
We need your support. And how do you give your support to Mammoth Nation?
It's better than a donation. Savings from...
Oh, it's a conservative discount club. Oh, it's a coupon scheme. I see. It's coupons. You get coupons. It's basically honey for gun nuts.
Just one purchase can pay for your entire membership.
Just one.
Become a lifetime member today.
Yes, give us all your information so that we can track you. This isn't a government op at all. I mean, I knew you thought you could trust Bill Barr, but can you really? I mean, Mammoth Nation, I mean, they've got a giant woolly mammoth, which is sort of like a better version of the Republican elephant, but, you know, dead for 10,000 years. But never mind that fact. The important thing is that you feel like you can trust them. So just give them your credit card information and let them track your purchasing history. That's fine. Right? Right? Right?
Go to mammoth.nation.com.
And upload every detail of your financial life. Newsmax, Greg Kelly.
We got
Ward lays out argument for stolen election. Let's hear it. A lot of headspace. A lot of the camera. I'm just going to say, and you might want to pop in. She's part of the Arizona GOP, the ones who were basically fomenting violence in the streets a couple days ago. Just like, get ready to shoot your fellow Americans. That's them. So she's, yeah.
To examine 100 of them. It's a very, very small sample.
It is a very small sample.
But guess what?
What?
We found 2 ballots that were changed. One was changed from Trump to Biden. One was just taken away from Trump for no reason that we can find an explanation for.
It was just taken away from Trump for no reason that we can find it. I mean, it wasn't, obviously the ballot itself was attached to an envelope at some point. The envelope was one that we're like, yeah, you're not a registered voter. That would have been taken away. No reason. No reason.
This is good news because
I don't know why you edited that part out. Why'd you cut through that?
taken away from Trump for no reason that we can find an explanation for. This is good news.
What'd she say in that little part? Where's the why are you redacting the interview?
Because those media propagandists who say there's no evidence.
There's no evidence. Well, it's not true. There's some evidence. There's 2 people who've been indicted for using their dead relatives' ballots to vote for Trump. I would call that evidence.
Of fraud can now shut up.
No, I mean, unless you're gonna bring up the fact that there were 17,000 Biden votes that were switched to Trump and someone caught it in Pennsylvania. You're gonna bring that up? 17,000. I know you love to bring up the 6,000 in Michigan. So one would think, if you're being fair and balanced, and that's not news, that's Fox, that's not Newsmax. What's Newsmax's logo? The least trusted name in news? The fastest growing non-QAnon site on YouTube?
The bad news is, this looks like this election has been attempted to be stolen from President Trump.
Listen to that sentence again.
This looks like this election has been attempted to be stolen.
This looks like this election has been attempted to be stolen from Trump. You know, by what? 81 million voters?
From President Trump.
And it looks like we're going to take it back. I'm joined.
We're going to cake it back. Guys, we got to cake it back.
President Trump.
And it looks like we're going to take it back. I'm joined by Kelly Ward.
We're going to cake it back. Let's talk right now to Telly Ward, and she's going to help us cake back Mernernica.
Chairwoman of the Arizona Republican Party.
Hey, how are you?
She made that video, which was retweeted by the President of the United States. Hi.
What a shock. You know, it was also retweeted that the SEAL Team 6 that got Osama bin Laden are all dead.
How are you? Good to see you tonight.
Hey, I'm doing great. We're fighting the fight because
because we hate America.
Every single avenue to make sure that our elections have integrity will be taken, will be exhausted. We will not sleep. We will not quit. We will continue to the path to make sure.
You're not going to sleep? I'm just saying, the courts are only open during certain times of the day. Get some sleep, because if you're telling me you have not slept since the election, I'm going to question your judgment. I'm going to be very concerned that a lot of the conclusions you're coming to are the result of sleep deprivation and are suspect.
sure that we save our republic.
And another...
Our republic. Anytime you say we have to save our republic, we must save our republic, right? It's about the republic. Remind yourself that that's her way of saying this is about the electoral college, not the popular vote, because they can't dig into Biden's lead in the popular vote ever. So what they're trying to do is get the Republican senators on the state, the state senators of these certain states to individually reclaim their right to choose an elector and therefore pick an elector of their own that will give their vote to the person who lost the state, Donald Trump, and therefore seize back the electoral control over the will of the voters. Because in the name of the republic, I mean, this was never supposed to be a democracy. You weren't supposed to have the rabble telling people how to live. This isn't a real democracy. And it never should be.
Positive step that the mainstream media are either ignoring or downplaying, dismissing the...
I'm not mainstream media by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, come on. And while they may be ignoring you because your case is ridiculous and you're rambling on the same stupid points and clearly you're trying to undermine the quality of our elections and faith in democracy itself, as I would call myself, what am I, alternative media? I just think we're fun. That I, as not mainstream media, maybe I'm lamestream media. Maybe that's who they're talking about me. You know what I mean? That could be. I'm cool with that. That whenever somebody says lamestream media, that's a dig at me. Just take that as a dig at me from now on. And it just means that we're getting more publicity that way. Just going to seize that. I'm the lamestream media. From now on. But they're not ignoring it. By the way, Newsmax is stealing viewers from Fox right now, so they're the mainstream media. Let's just be, honestly.
The Arizona Supreme Court will hear the case.
And pissed on it, I think. Are we doing this? Yep. When was this? Yeah.
Yes, it is actually about 2 minutes ago, just as I was getting ready to go on, the Supreme Court has said, basically agreed with the lower courts. But we are evaluating...
But... What happened?
The Supreme Court has said, basically agreed with the lower courts. But we are... Yes, it is actually about 2 minutes ago. Yes, it is actually about 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago. Yeah, just 2 minutes ago, a couple seconds ago. How do I say this on Newsmax? That about 2 minutes ago, right before I went on, we just lost again. But, we're always putting a bright shine on it, and we're winning, and this is super winning, and we're so winning, guys. This is such winning. I don't block all the trolls. I'm not gonna just go on a troll blocking thing. But if they're violent or they start messing with people, personally, then they can go. But if they're randos who are just shitting on me, I don't care. Like it's not a big deal. Like I said, they help our numbers. They really do. They by a lot.
Just as I was getting...
just before, I was just about to... sorry, I have something... I'm sorry, I have some losing caught in my throat.
Getting ready to go on, the Supreme Court has said, basically agreed with the lower courts. But we are...
But,
evaluating what we need to do, and if we need to, we will go all the way to the...
Yeah, she's got there's nothing... Yes, Judy caught in her throat. She needs a little Judy. You need some Judy. Judy.co. Here, take this. Take this. What is it? It's a tissue soaked in hand sanitizer. Just suck on it. Judy.co.
United States Supreme Court, because simply saying that there's some kind of deadline that doesn't exist, as you just heard from Jason.
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm even trying to, let's see. All right. They try so hard. It's adorable.
January 20th is the only date that matters. Inauguration day.
Yeah, that's it. Because, guys, we haven't really lost until we've totally lost. And we haven't totally lost. So keep sending us money. This isn't a grift at all, guys. Come on. Super important. Look, we may have lost again twice in the same day. After losing 45 times. And the one win that we did have was actually thrown out. But now, sorry, Had a little Judy. Anyways, until January 20th comes along, we haven't, and the president does his alternative inauguration and moves to the Mar-a-Lago White House. And then we all show up down there and he refuses us entry. Have we really lost? Until we're all paying $300,000 a year to Trump to become members of Mar-a-Lago, there's no losing here. Yeah, today was safe harbor. It's done. The only state that hasn't fully certified is Wisconsin. It's over. It's over today.
So we have time to be able to look.
Yeah, nope. You don't have any money. You don't have any time. You don't have any case. You don't have anything.
At the evidence that's before us.
What is the evidence that's before us? Tell us the evidence. I mean, it better be evidence that I haven't already gone through. Arizona.
As that video showed, we found evidence that votes were. As that video showed, we found evidence that votes were changed from one guy to the other.
I see. Okay, my mic went. That was weird. I've been hacked again. Sorry, this part.
We found evidence that votes were changed.
That's right. In Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, 17,000 Biden votes were changed to Trump, and somebody caught him.
From one guy to the other.
Yeah, from Biden to Trump, and then someone caught it.
Or just taken away from President Trump altogether. So we deserve to be able to look at those.
Because they weren't legit votes.
Things that Arizona lets us have.
Yeah, look at that camera. That's weird. Let me guess. There's one over here. There's one over here. There's one over here. There's two in the center over here in this room. You want to guess? Want to guess that they've paired people up, Republican and Democrat, across these tables as they're going through this stuff? Is that what we're talking about? No.
We have
Please continue to show video of stuff you say there is no video of.
paper ballot.
And please continue to show video clips and say things are being done in them that aren't.
Backups. We have digital images of the ballots as they were cast. We have logs of who did what and when, but we simply haven't been able to look at them because these attorneys and these judges keep saying there's just no time. Well, there is time. And so
isn't there?
We're going to keep pushing to whatever level we need to go to make sure that we are able to tell the voters of Arizona and the voters of the United States of America that our elections have integrity.
They do. And why is one political party's operatives who have on their Twitter tried to foment violence, why are they the arbiter of what a fair election is and not the elected officials of the state?
Can you say that again, though, at the start? 2 minutes ago, Supreme Court said they agree with the lower court. I don't think
Yeah. Loser.
that's a good thing. And so,
what was that again? I don't think that's a good thing.
Supreme Court said they agree with the lower court. I don't think that's a good thing. And so,
actually, it is a good thing. It's a very good thing. It proves that our elections have integrity and our judicial system isn't for sale to the highest bidder.
so we're gonna have to fight this all the way up to the Supreme Court, right?
I was gonna try. No.
Right.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're looking at it. We're looking at the whole reading.
Yeah, keep looking at it, guys. And looking at it is expensive. So please, Trumpsters and maggots and and understand that, by the way, I don't know if the ones in Facebook know, but every troll you have to give 50 stars or you can't stay. That's the rules. I don't make them. Those are Facebook rules. But I understand if you're like, that's a lot. I don't know if I have that. I understand because if you have any money, you should be giving it to Trump right now. Every single dime. He needs every dime you have to pay off his debts to pay his legal fees. And remember, until you give $8,000, it's not helping at all. You might as well not be giving anything. You need to give at least $10,000, maybe 20. I mean, you should at least, if you're not willing to pay for 1 day of Rudy Giuliani, how are you even MAGA? Do you even MAGA, bro?
I haven't had a chance to even look at the reading. My attorney just sent me a text right before I came on and said,
They ruled exactly as we thought that they probably would. Same ruling as the lower court, that we don't have time and they don't see enough evidence of any kind of misbehavior.
Yeah, misbehavior. That's what they were looking for. Misbehavior. Folks, what we are here in court today as a member of the Trump campaign and, of course, the Arizona GOP, you as you can see, which group is which. The Trump team is, of course, coughing and wiping snot on themselves and farting nonstop, and the Arizona GOP legal team is all, of course, armed and pointing their guns at the judge right now, just so you know who's who. And what we're alleging today is misbehavior. Just misbehavior. There's a lot of ruffians. There's a bunch of ragamuffins in here. They're not behaving. There's not enough misbehavior.
Even if there's human error in a race that has a 0.3% margin, you have to look for it, because we have to make sure that the right guy, President Trump, in my opinion, gets those electoral votes so that we send the right person to the White House for the next.
I'm for it. Do it again. Count Arizona. Count again. Trump campaign, Arizona GOP, pony up the dough and do like they did in Wisconsin. $3 million to give Joe Biden 89 votes. Please do it again. I'm not kidding. I hope a judge orders a full recount of Arizona again. I mean, he's not going to do it for free. The taxpayers of Arizona shouldn't have to pay for the fact that the Arizona GOP can't take a loss and that Trump's a sore loser. It's not their problem. They voted for who they voted for. But if you're going to ask for a recount again when you've lost again and again, you've already had 2 recounts, pay for another one. We can wait. We got till January 20th. Go ahead, Arizona. Count your votes again. Find 50 more votes or 100 more votes for Joe Biden that some nudnik Republican in a red district threw out or hid under a table or threw in the garbage can and went, why is there's no ballot with this envelope? Why was there's a privacy envelope with a barcode on it. There's no ballot that went through. Where is it? Where is it? Can we look at because we save all the garbage from here. All the trash is kept until afterwards, so there's no,
4 years. In my opinion, that is President Donald J. Trump.
Just say that at the end of it and just give everybody a good feel good at the end of it. And, sure, 2 minutes ago we got thrown out on our ass, but you know what? In my opinion, Trump just won 4 more years, and that's all the proof you need.
Hey, what was the biggest problem? You mentioned some things in that video at the top, but the number one concern you have in Arizona, what didn't go, what wasn't kosher?
What was it? What wasn't kosher?
Well, there were so many things. I mean,
just start with it.
It's basically innumerable. But
well, no, they have to be numerable. If they were innumerable, it wouldn't be a vote.
Tonight, I will tell you that we were talking about the duplicated ballots. So the ballots that have some kind of damage or they can't be read by the machine for whatever reason. Those ballots are set aside, and then a human from
a human in quotes. Oh, they might be a Facebook robot. We don't know.
The elections department fills them in. They create a duplicate for the voter.
That's right.
Now, they're supposed to create it exactly as the voter created it himself or herself.
And then what happens to the original? Is it stored in an envelope of the duplicated ballots to be reviewed later? And does the person sign the duplicate and they write 1 on the first ballot they do and dupe 1 on the other ballot? Because that's the law in Arizona.
However, we found a 3% swing for President Trump whenever we just looked at 100 ballots out of nearly 2 million.
Those weren't the duplicates, though. You're talking about 100 ballots from an area where you gained 2 ballots. What about everywhere else? 100 ballots is not indicative. 100%. Okay, 100 ballots, 100%, 2 ballots switched, 1 to Trump and 1 to, I don't know what the hell that one said. So, by the way, it was 101 ballots. I mean, not to go too Dalmatians on this because they found 1 outside the 100 and they wanted to add it in. It wasn't included.
There are over 1.9 million early ballots, absentee ballots. 28,000 of them were duplicated. Over 200,000 of them were
digitally adjudicated. We
That's the signature part, by the way, the digital adjudication.
haven't been able to look at one ballot, not one, that was digitally adjudicated.
Because ballots aren't digitally adjudicated, the signatures are on the envelopes.
So I wonder what we would find, and I wonder
She's with the Arizona GOP.
why people want to stop us from looking, because we need.
Because they don't want you keep creating a list of Democratic voters in regions and threatening them. That's why we have a private vote. The individual parties don't get to review who voted for who after the election went against them and start targeting voters for next time. Are you stupid?
Sunlight on this process. We've got millions of people in our own state and millions, tens of millions of people, over 80 million people who are questioning the results, the validity.
80 million Biden voters are questioning the validity of Trump's brain pan
of this election. This is an American republic.
There's the word republic again. Arizona GOP is all about the republic because we're not a democracy. It's not about people. It's about land.
Owe it to the people out there, the voters, the citizens of the United States
to take their vote away, give it to a faithless elector of our choosing that will vote the way the president wants, not the way they voted.
Do this right, to take our time and to look at everything we have to be able to reassure them.
I totally agree.
Even though you lost again.
And I spent too much time in the military for Rahm Emanuel and Tom Perez and whoever else might have had a hand in swinging this thing the wrong way. By the way,
I'm pretty sure both of them voted for Biden. It's those two votes. This whole election was decided because Tom Perez and Rahm Emanuel, both of them of a racial class he's not a fan of, I guess.
Very fond of Arizona. I lived in Yuma, the southwest corner of the state, for
where the biggest outbreaks were. Check out you guys think my graphics are high quality. Dude is pointing at a picture on his laptop. See where I was like right here. I lived here. This is, by the way, the area where California had a huge outbreak of COVID because of the restrictions being relaxed in Arizona that Trump was so excited about. And so Trump flies in, lands right near this guy's cuticle, which, by the way, looks fantastic. It's definitely the hands of a man who has, gets regular hand services. Look at the quality of that collar. This dude's paid very well by Newsmax. It's good to know. He gets his nails done with some regularity.
For 4 years, not even on the map on my map.
Yeah, Yuma. Most people don't even know Yuma exists.
But right about there.
It's right about in the Yuma area.
Great place.
Sounds
they're
like a military placement, and my husband.
It's like a military placement. That's how I look at Yuma.
Served for 33 years honorably in our military. We love our military. We love our freedom, and we're going to.
We love our military and we love our freedom, and that's why we're asking members of our military to rise up and attack Americans on behalf of Newsmax.
Keep fighting for it.
Excellent. Yes, there's a big Marine base. That's where I served there. Hey, thank you very, very much, Kelly Ward. To be continued. You can sense the momentum.
Yeah, you can totally sense the momentum. Nothing says momentum like losing your case 2 minutes before your interview starts. Yeah, yes, there's momentum. It's not the momentum you actually want, but this is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not over. I've been saying that for a long time, and I'm seeing the mainstream media start to sweat a little bit.
Are they? Are they really? They're starting to sweat? Yeah, it's nothing worse than seeing Steve Kornacki on the air trying to find Yuma on a map that doesn't have it on there.
They ain't seen nothing yet.
Nope, they ain't seen nothing yet. You think today's losses or something? Wait till tomorrow. Holy smokes.
We'll be right back, and thank you again, Kelly.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Vernon Jones from Georgia.
Now buy some Judy. I'm not going to play his theme song because I'll end up getting hit or whatever. By the way, space. Isn't that nice? So nice just to enjoy the whole thing. We've only got a few minutes left in today's show. We did General Flynn. There you go. This is So I'll end on this. This is the ACLJ. This is Jay Sekulow, the president's former personal attorney, who, by the way, is not arguing. I'll do Lou Dobbs, we'll do a whole Lou Dobbs special at some point. This is Jay Sekulow on his own show, the JSL for ACLJ, the American Civil Liberties Jay Sekulow's name show. It's the American Center for Law and Justice, which is it is not the center of. It is arguably funded by foreign interests, and they have no interest in law and justice because they're trying to overturn a just election using the law poorly. So I can't imagine why Trump didn't pick this guy over here to run his legal defense, his legal attack on, in the Supreme Court case. Trump had to file today to be added to the multi-state case that wants to go to the Supreme Court. And the only attorney he had is the head of was one of the people behind the Defense of Marriage Act and is, a right-wing anti-LGBTQ activist lawyer. That's the only guy he could find, because even though Jay would have done it, Jay probably wants to get paid later, so he won't come back, or Trump says he's such a shitty lawyer he doesn't trust him to do this. We'll end on this little piece.
I know you're very sensitive to this right now.
Former U.S. attorney and Georgia resident, dismal leadership in Georgia is to blame, is the clip from here.
Georgia.
I am.
You are. It's been a mess down there.
It is a mess.
It's totally a mess. Georgia's such a mess. They had a narrow election. They recounted it 3 times, and it actually turned out that it was right on the money. They found a couple, which in a recount you're always bound to do, but not enough to change the election outcome. But okay.
And I lay the liability, the responsibility for this mess.
Or liability, sure. I mean, it's a legal term, and you're on a legal show, but whatever.
You may not like to hear this, but on Brian Kemp, the governor, and on Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State,
who are?
You might as well throw in the Attorney General, Chris Carr, as well.
Yeah.
The leadership of the Republican Party, and they're all Republicans.
Yeah, it's terrible. Can you imagine? Guys, the Republican Party, you can't even trust these people. I mean, honestly, they're attacking.
They have not shown leadership.
No, they have not shown leadership. Why? True leadership would mean that if a bunch of nudnik Trumpsters show up on your lawn threatening your life, you bend over, take it up the keister, and do whatever they say. That's leadership. Leadership is handing over the election in your state, regardless of the outcome, to Donald Trump. I mean, come on. How much leadership is not something that the guy on the sled does. It's something the dog does. You know what I mean? Thank you, Jeffrey. I agree. I am the goat. And for the record, if you don't know what goat means, please go watch Trump's weird vaccine summit thing where he apparently defines it and is amazed by that's how the words work out. I think nothing says, what the nothing spells Trumpster like someone writing in my chat room, "you're and idiot," using YOUR. That's just beautiful. That's I mean, honestly, you're and idiot. YOUR and idiot. You're and idiot. Both of them. Lovely.
In taking the bull by the horns and doing the things that they need to do in Georgia. Look.
Yeah, they need to take the bull by the horns. They need to tell Trump that he's lost and show true leadership. I mean, honestly, isn't that ultimately what
Raffensperger did was take a legislative mandate and basically disregarded by doing things that he, as the Secretary of State, had no authorization to do. Number one. Number two.
Yeah, he does. He was given that right by the legislature. You can have the opinion that the legislature shouldn't have handed him that power in the first place, but they did. Decades, if not hundreds of years ago. 140 years ago?
Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia.
That guy. I mean, honestly, We thought he'd be such, I mean, first of all, he's Secretary of State. He obviously scuttles the gubernatorial election in his state to gain the seat himself, limits the number of voting machines in black areas, does everything he can to keep Stacey Abrams from winning, ekes through. While he's still running the elections, he gets elected using the very machines that he's in control of to maintain the elections. And yet, I mean, how can you not count on that guy to be, on the team? And then all of a sudden
has the exclusive right to convene the General Assembly. What he should have done, and that's the legislature in Georgia.
I see. The General Assembly is called the legislature. I see.
General Assembly.
The General Assembly. I see.
Is when he saw the things that were occurring in the election, he could have convened the General Assembly and had it select the slate of electors. So there has been a lack of.
Yeah, he had an opportunity. He could have looked at what the voters did, gone, oh shit, they elected a Democrat, called the legislature in, and forced them to override the will of the voters and choose themselves electors that represent their party, not the will of the voters overall, seize that power back from the Board of Elections and who they'd given it to decades ago, and get a buddy from town that they know who will vote for Trump no matter what, to be a faithless elector who's been directed by them to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, what could be more American than the controlling party in a circumstance seizing power from the voters and insisting that they install the leader? I mean, this doesn't sound like Brazil or anything.
Of leadership in Georgia that is
terrible.
Dismal.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, what? Couldn't they be more like Bolsonaro? I mean, why? Why in the world won't they be more Putin in what they're doing? Is there anything? How can we?
Dismal lack of leadership.
Dismal lack of leadership. It's terrible that they won't allow Donald Trump to subvert their election in the state, which is what a true leader in government would do.
In Georgia. And I think it's been reflected in the fact that we have chaos down there.
Do we have chaos? Sorry, is there chaos in Georgia? Do you get to send people down with guns to stand on someone's lawn and go, look at all these violent people. It must be their fault.
We do not have the kinds of election that I think pass constitutional standards. And I think the suit filed.
What's the constitutional standard? The Georgia state constitution? Because they do. Or the U.S. Constitution, which stays out of it.
By Texas, at least as to the allegations against Georgia, is perfectly in order, Jay.
Yeah. As a resident and a U.S. attorney, former U.S. attorney, I think that Texas should be able to attack my state because my state isn't voting the way I want to. Instead of moving to a state that leans my way politically, I want to stay here and nullify the votes of people who vote against me. Christ almighty.
Texas, at least as to the allegations against Georgia, is perfectly in order, Jay.
There's also lawsuits filed there by the Republican Party.
What a surprise. When you can't get enough votes.
To make sure that election is conducted by the laws of the state of Georgia. I mean, the fact they're having to file lawsuits in a state run by Republicans, I think.
Okay. So the fact that they're having to file lawsuits in a state run by Republicans, I don't know what they edited out right after
the
that.
State of Georgia. I mean, the fact they're having to file lawsuits in a state run by Republicans, I think that.
What? What did you cut out there? What was missing in this clip? The fact that they had to file lawsuits in a state. I mean, why should we have to sue in Republican-run states? They should automatically hand over their elections to the Republican Party. We shouldn't have to do this. This is costing us too much money. What the hell is with this whole functioning judiciary on the state level? I thought we superseded all of this.
That's why this lawsuit, the Supreme Court is important. It's are we going to follow the law or not in our country? That's the first question you have to ask.
Well, they were following the law. The law doesn't mean you have to. If anybody sues, you immediately have to give it to them. That is following the law. Follow the law and present evidence. Just because L. Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell got their ass handed to them in the Georgia courts doesn't mean that the Georgia courts are the problem. Following the law means, I don't know, even spelling the word district properly at least once in the 2 times you use it in a sentence should possibly be part of your filing.
Really is the question of the case. That is really the case.
It really is the case. It's so the case, bro. It's such the case. It's outrageous. Honestly, this is it. That's all of it. This is our show for today. I'm gonna leave you guys and try not to burn down the house every single day and go 3 hours. Originally, we were just Jay's following my hairstyle. Well, he's way drafting it because he's not anywhere near the level of hair that I have at this current point. Yeah, he's just kind of doing Ron Kuby, you know. Oh yeah, music is playing in the video. Good point. But it's generic theme music because the one thing we know about the ACLJ and his show and that we know about Newsmax is that they all use royalty-free music in their stuff because they're not about to pay for it because that would be free market capitalism and they don't do that. Why would you pay someone directly for the work that they've done for you when you can just buy generic stuff made overseas and use it in place of stuff created by an American composer? I, however, composed my own music, which I will play right now as we head out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is Thursday, so I'm on at 4 o'clock, not 3 o'clock, because we have family FaceTime. I'm with the whole family on Thursday, so it pushes everything an hour. I adore you. Oh, I'm going full Sebastian Bach on my hair. There's no reason, other than it makes it difficult to, that in Nerd Halen, I'm going to have to put my hair back and pin it up to do Nerd Halen, but also that wearing wigs for characters becomes increasingly hard when you've got long hair. But if Kate McKinnon can do it, I can, bless her heart, I can do it too. So I'm just, we're going back to full, like, ass-length hair at this point. I don't care. Why not? But I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I would like to remind everybody, the Georgia runoff is coming up. Please vote if you're in Georgia and you are a legal citizen voter of Georgia and you have an address in Georgia and you are from Georgia and you can vote in Georgia and you have the right to vote in Georgia, and only then vote and vote once. There you go. Look at me, a liberal Democrat telling you to do this. And I don't care if you're a Republican or an independent or a Democrat in that state, vote. Vote for who you want to vote for, who you legitimately think represents you best. If you think Kelly Loeffler, who was, obviously appointed to the seat, never ran for the office, and has been accused multiple times of insider trading, and her husband owns the stock exchange, represents you as a Georgian and really represents your interests as someone from Georgia and your family's interests and will take care of you, then by all means vote for her. If you think David Perdue, who didn't even bother to show up for the debate, because why should he? I mean, you guys know where he stands. You don't need to hear him answer questions. You already got it. David Perdue's already answered all your questions. You're going to vote for him. Then by all means do. And I will see my fellow Americans on the field of ideas, and you guys can vote, and I insist that you do, even if it means I lose fair and square in an election, which we didn't do this time. You did learn to deal with it, and you have a chance at taking back the Senate, so go vote. And if you're a Democrat, I urge you to vote yourself and give someone that you love a ride to the polls if indeed you need one, or you make sure that you vote early, because I think early voting starts in a couple weeks. In a week? Is it the 16th? Yeah, it's not even that far away. Because the weather's going to be rough. If you need your absentee ballot or any of those kind of things, like follow the rules in Georgia. Go to georgia.gov and they'll give you all that information. It's super important. So vote. To all my fellow Americans, vote. We vote every 2 years in this country for our midterms and our presidential elections, and we vote in every special election. That's how it works. And I say those things not because I expect to win or lose in a particular election, not because I don't hope my side wins, and not because I think that the candidates on the other side are legitimate. It's because above and beyond all that, I care about our democracy. I believe in America. I believe in the promise of America. I believe in the value of our democracy. And I believe in the value of one person, one vote, and everybody's vote should count. So There you go. And no, I don't believe that people who aren't citizens should vote. There you go. And I also don't think that felons serving time should vote. After you get out and you paid your debt to society, absolutely. Absolutely. Otherwise, there's no reason to let people out, right? So there you go. That's my feeling on voting. Doesn't change. Always consistent. And whether I win or lose, always feel the same way and have fun. Yeah. So, all right. I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I'll see you at 4 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. Oh, the theme song takes a second for it to kick in. There it is.